Animals have reason, and animals have consciousness. Different animals have different levels of these things than you and I do. In fact, you and I have different levels of consciousness and reason. But it doesn't mean they don't have them. Somebody dumped a kitten in my yard, and it's hiding under my house. It's been there for about a week. And it used reason. Even though it's cold and it's scared, it wouldn't come out at first because I might be dangerous because a human being dumped it over a fence. It's taken about a week now for it to allow me to be out in the yard when it's out in the yard and not have it go diving under the house. It's taken it about a week for it to allow me to get my hand within an inch of it while playing with a toy on a string. It took about a week for it to let me pick it up today and hold it and pet it. That's reason, son. It tested me out. It watched me over time. It made observations about whether or not I was dangerous, and it decided whether or not it could trust me. Son, that's reason. A cat can't say I because a cat can't speak any human language. However, more intelligent cats can recognize their reflections in mirrors as opposed to other animals or other cats' reflections. Chimpanzees can speak sign language, so can gorillas, and they're very capable of saying I. What would be the difference between throwing a human being off of a cliff and the equivalent amount of human ingredients, throw it off the cliff and throw a human off the cliff if that's all we are? Okay, look at it this way. You can't hurt the inert ingredients. You can't disrupt them in any way. However, if you throw a human off a cliff, you're destroying a life. And in fact, I would argue, because I believe in being responsible for the planet on which I live, that it is probably irresponsible to throw the equivalent amount of basic ingredients for a human being off a cliff because you might hurt something else as it tumbled on its way down the cliff. Honey, animals sent Voyager spacecraft out into space, and one of them has left the solar system for the first time in the history of our planet. We have consciously created a device to send it outside the solar system. We are animals, honey, and we did that. So don't tell me animals can't write books or create Mozart, because we already do. Morality is situational, it's cultural, it's completely subjective. Sometimes it's social because we agree that we will all do this thing because we all agree this thing is right. I don't know why that's such a big problem for you. The thing is, you see, that I'm a nihilist and I choose my morality. I could very easily be a killer. In fact, I have been a killer. So I make personal decisions for myself about how I will comport myself in the world in relationship to other beings, not just human. I am free to choose to be an absolute and total sociopath, and I choose not to. I have very pragmatic, practical reasons for that. It's good for my emotional health to make the decisions I make. I see it as beneficial to the species and the planet on which I live. It's pragmatic in that I can get stuff done. I don't have to worry about cops. I don't have to worry about doing something that I will regret in the future, and I don't have to mull over and feel ashamed of what I've done in the past. I would say that we have collectively, as a species, for the most part, decided that torturing babies for fun and then eating them is repugnant because we have biological instinctual impulses toward the protection of the next generation of life. We are social animals. We depend on each other for survival. So, therefore, we've developed empathy. So, we'd feel kind of bad for the baby. I'm talking about most of us. There's always exceptions. So, if it seems like it's universal, it's because we are a species. You know, For the most part, a lot of other animals behave in the same way. Therefore, you can argue that animals have morality. For instance, I saw a video recently where a pig rescued a goat kid from a stream in which it looked like it was in distress and might possibly drown. Why did that pig jump in that water and save that goat kid? Wasn't even the same species. It couldn't even have sex with it. It couldn't eat it. So why did it go nudge that little goat and push it out of the water? God did it. I explain the origin of morality as an adaptation of the species for its own survival. I also think that a lot of other species on the planet have morality, as I just demonstrated with my example of the pig and the goat. We don't know why the pig saved the goat. Not a clue. Could be innate empathy. We have no idea. We think we understand animals, but we really don't. We're just arrogant. For instance, what are whales saying all over the planet to each other? We have no idea. My dog can speak Spanish and English, understand Spanish and English. He can't speak it because of the structure of his mouth, but he can understand things I say to him in both Spanish and English. I can't understand a word of dog. Why would I say the atheist, what you're calling worldview, has ultimate meaning, but it really doesn't, according to you? I'm an atheist because I don't believe in gods. I'm a non believer in gods. Your explanations for why the world exists and how it functions are ludicrous, rudimentary, and completely dependent on magical thinking. I have no interest in that. As far as the meaning of life and the purpose of life, it's a very complex issue. A lot of it entails I don't know. As for my own personal life and your psychological question, which I think is very invasive, and I don't think you have the right to ask psychological questions, but that's what religious people do, is invade the psyches of other people and look for flaws and weaknesses that they can pounce on and say, aha, you don't have answers to things. I'm perfectly fine with not having the answers to things. My purpose for my life is to do the best I can, to try not to cause injury to others, to try to leave a modest legacy, to make things a little bit better for people that come after me than they were for me. And that's basically how we've evolved as a species. Why is it a problem for you that the sun's going to cease to exist, that this galaxy is going to crash into another galaxy at some point in the future? Why is that so frightening to you? Why do you need to be eternal? Why can't you just be part of existence as it is instead of creating some grand and egocentric place for yourself on this planet? You're just one more person. I mean, that's awesome. The fact that you're conscious, the fact that you can see, think, feel, experience reality, that's completely and totally awesome. But it doesn't make you special. There are other beings on this planet that aren't human that can do the same things. Maybe not as elaborately because we have a more developed brain, but I'm not even sure of that because I don't know how to communicate with dolphins and whales. And they have enormous brains, and we don't even know how they use them. We haven't even really tried to talk to other primates. We're only just now beginning to do that. We don't know what skills they have that may not have to do with tools and language, but might be really valuable skills that we're completely overlooking because we're just too stupid to see it. And then you go past this planet, we have no idea what's out there. Why is it so important for you, your little ego, to be eternal? My life is precious. It's never existed before. It will never exist again. And every single second of it is a golden, precious, shimmering thing. And I'm humbled and grateful for it. And I will use this resource as well as I can until it's gone. As far as ultimate meaning, I can't be responsible for that. All I can do is contribute my part. Of course, I would like to see our species evolve. I would like to see us migrate to and colonize other worlds and evolve into something else. Would love to see that. Do I know if that will happen? I don't know. The way things are going and the way people like you are talking, it's really hard to be optimistic, but I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be.